Tonight on the Northwestern News Report.
What was important to me was that it not be the typical rally.
Evanston locals rally for reproductive rights, how a national issue hits close to home for many.
And students speak on the sustainability of the new Ryan Field, why there are environmental concerns over upcoming renovations.
Plus, an Evanston restaurant serves up live jazz. We'll take you inside the weekly Wednesday night festivities. All of that and more tonight on the Northwestern News Report.
It's your news
right now.
Good evening and welcome to the Northwestern News Report. I'm Diego Ramos-Bachara.
And I'm Vanessa Kelson. The overturning of Roe v. Wade shook the nation this past summer. Illinois activists have not stopped fighting for reproductive rights as early voting begins in some counties across Illinois. NNN's Julia Richardson takes us to an Evanston pro-choice rally.
Evanston community members gathering in Raymond Park Sunday to stand up for reproductive justice.
When it comes to pro-choice and reproductive justice, we will speak up.
Support from more than a dozen outside organizations, Evanston resident Gretchen Smith-Brewster was the driving force behind the event.
I don't think people realize the significance of this issue of pro-choice.
But for some, this is an issue they know all too well.
I kind of can't believe I'm in this position again.
For others, it's about their future.
This is the world that I'm going to grow up in.
Or their children's.
I want my daughter to live in a world where she can have bodily autonomy and have, a right to, pursue her own path.
Speakers included Illinois Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton.
And we know it's those from our most marginalized communities that are bearing the brunt of this decision.
And Evanston Mayor Daniel Biss.
It is so convenient when the just and right thing is also what the people want.
Local artists performing original music.
Free or lover.
This song I wrote for today is called Women Choose, and it has a big period at the end because that's just the end,
Organizers say support doesn't end with the march.
Hey, ho, ho, your backward views have got to go.
What was important to me was that it not be the typical rally, march, everybody go home.
Marchers behind me just left Raymond Park and are making their way to Mason Park to show their support for pro-choice and reproductive justice organizations.
We want to encourage people to commit to all of the different services and pro-choice organizations.
Reminding community members to not get too comfortable.
We are in our nice little bubble here in Illinois, protected, but that's at this moment in time. It may not be in another couple of months.
Julia Richardson, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Julia. Reproductive rights are at the forefront of the Illinois Supreme Court races. Pro-choice activists are working to maintain the Democratic majority on the court.
We're just 20 days away until the polls close. If you're registered to vote in Illinois, you can vote in person beginning on Monday. No reason or excuse is required to vote early, and you can cast your ballot until the day before the election at the Lorraine H. Morton Civic Center. That's on Ridge Avenue. Polls will be open during the following times on your screen. You can register online to vote in Illinois until Saturday, October 23rd. Illinois also allows registration at the polls with 2 forms of identification. More information can be found on the state's election board website.
College is a time of exploration and joy for many, but it can also bring significant stress. Northwestern recently paired with Timely MD to provide students with more support. NNN's Emma Sullivan has more on the mental health resource and students' experiences with the app.
In April of 2022, Northwestern partnered with Timely Care to provide students with 24/7 access to scheduled counseling, health coaching, and on-demand appointments known as Talk Now.
We just saw that students had more need than we could provide at the time. So Timely Care is really built to be flexible for a student's schedule.
1,039 students have made counseling appointments with Timely Care as of October 14th. 158 have utilized the Talk Now feature, including Fatima Jallo.
I was having moments where it was just like, oh, if I don't talk to someone right now, like I fear for my safety. It was just so helpful, like the Talk Now feature. I was like, for real? And I clicked it, and then someone was there.
But the technology hasn't been so seamless for everyone.
It brought me to another window or little option that said add service code, and at that point I was really frustrated. I was like, what code do you want from me? I just want to talk to someone.
We asked Dugo about this. She told us she was unaware of the issue and would look into it. Another issue? Students have to start paying for services after 12 free sessions.
It would be better for me to have just even more free sessions, especially because I'm a low-income student.
They don't have the financial means to continue, then Timely Care would loop back to us so we can look into options.
Helping Wildcats with their wellness at any time. Emma Sullivan, Northwestern News Network.
Students can download the Timely Care app or visit timelycare.com/Northwestern to get more information.
Thanks, Vanessa. The Northwestern Blood Initiative is hosting Purple Pride Blood Drive tomorrow at Norris. The donations will go to Versity Blood Centers, the main supplier for Northwestern Medicine hospitals. In 2 weeks, donors will receive an email telling them which hospital received their donation.
The donation process is only a few minutes, but from getting there to leaving is about an hour. And I would just say if it is something that you're able to squeeze into your busy schedule, it's a really great way to give back.
Now the group will be taking walk-ins, or students can make an appointment with this QR code. One donation can save up to 3 lives.
With midterm exams approaching, NU students are chapters deep in textbooks that can cost hundreds of dollars. This is where Books for Cats, a program for low-income first-year students, can help. NNN's Bridget Aduadier reports on how students rely on it.
It's really annoying.
$140. That's how much Weinberg's second-year Sarah Wax says she had to pay to get a textbook for her Spanish class.
Definitely was a hurt right now because I know I at least am kind of working paycheck to paycheck.
Books for Cats, a textbook borrowing program for low-income students, works to alleviate such financial burdens. The program is almost entirely for first-year students, except for second-year students taking general and organic chemistry. That means after 1 year, low-income students have to look elsewhere to get free or low-cost textbooks.
Now I have to find very niche textbooks for classes that I can't necessarily find the free PDF for the most recent edition.
In a statement to NNN, First Generation Low-Income Initiatives Director Michael Fitzpatrick said, quote, "First-year students are particularly in need of help during the transition from high school to college." But Weinberg third-year Leslie Molina says the exclusion of older low-income students isn't fair.
If we had the means to buy a textbook, we would totally buy it. But most of us really don't.
And while Books for Cats offers textbooks for over 100 introductory classes, including STEM classes with additional costs like access codes for homework, some courses are excluded too.
It was such a waste of money.
Fitzpatrick also tells NNN, quote, "We hope to continue expanding the program to reach more students in the future, towering book stacks, and even higher price tags."
Joins us now in the studio. Thanks so much for coming here. What's currently being done to be able to expand the program?
Yeah, so every year, the Office of Figley Initiatives and the NU Bookstore, as well as the Financial Aid Office, they come together and they review the program, and they also include student feedback and expand where resources allow. So since the pilot program in 2017, the program has been able to expand to over 100 classes and textbooks.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Bridget. For more information on Books for Cats and other student resources, visit northwestern.edu/enrichment. Students can also rent books from Norris and borrow textbooks from local libraries. Coming up, protecting against pipelines, how Chicago area climate activists are protesting for preservation.
And unity through song. A look at how Northwestern's LGBTQ faculty and students are playing their way to community.
We're Wildcats in every way.
We will cheer you all the go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Chicago against Line 3 hosted climate activist groups and environmental advocates in Elliott Park on Sunday to fight against the pipeline projects threatening the Great Lakes. NNN's Michaela Denault talks to the green advocates behind the movement.
Get very emotional.
This is organizer Jesse Bradish. Last Sunday, Chicagoland climate groups came together to talk about the impact of pipeline projects on Indigenous rights and water sources like Lake Michigan, the largest source of fresh water within the U.S.
How much common sense is that when these pipes leak, it's not if, but when? And they're putting at risk the water.
Fearing water contamination, activists spoke against Enbridge Pipelines 3 and 5, along with the proposed carbon dioxide pipeline that would run through Illinois. Over 40 million people get their drinking water from the Great Lakes, according to the Great Lakes Commission. Advocates concerned because
this is as close to our watershed as I think it could get.
And being right next to Lake Michigan, climate activists are bringing people together through music, speakers, and an open mic.
Water is sacred, water is life.
Defeat their oily candidates.
Everybody gets to look at the lake every day. Like, it's so beautiful. Like, I can't imagine like anything happening to it.
Then also raise funds to support those protesting Pipeline 3, who sometimes face legal challenges.
There were hundreds of cases. Last year we actually had 2 Northwestern students come and speak who did do some time in the camps and were arrested.
Local activists joining a national effort.
Well, it's going to be grassroots pressure that's ultimately going to make the change.
Protecting the water right in our backyard.
And Michaela is with us in the studio now to tell us a little bit more about the event. So Michaela, what groups co-sponsored this event?
So there were many organizations there. Chicago Against Line 3 was hosting the event, but there was also the Extinction Rebellion and 350 Chicago that also attended. And lastly, one that I really wanted to highlight was Creative Artists and Activists in Music Together, which was a band that goes around the Chicagoland area promoting activist message through music.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Michaela. Vanessa?
The rebuild of Ryan Field is being promoted as a more sustainable stadium. NNN's Divya Gupta spoke with members from the ASG Sustainability Committee about their goals.
The Northwestern Associated Student Government, or ASG, is expressing its own environmental goals for the new Ryan Field.
We're really hopeful that everyone is on board and that this is going to happen.
Major concerns for ASG are light and noise pollution for the surrounding neighborhoods. They're proposing a zero-waste initiative to athletics, stressing the need for compostables and waste-minimizing equipment.
One of our big hopes for this new stadium is that it's optimized to be one of these zero-waste fields. It's our largest goal.
Most buildings on NU's campus are given an environmental rating by a green building certification system called LEED.
That really matches with the university's strategic plan around sustainability.
Right now, Rebuild Ryan Field is aiming for gold certification, but ASG Sustainability hopes for more. Our hope is maybe we can nudge them up to platinum.
ASG Sustainability Chair Alexis Schwartz says they've brought their proposal on how to make Ryan Field more sustainable to the university. The university says they're open to suggestions.
Really being able to work together with not only student groups, but outside entities to ensure that we can create that sustainable environment.
However, Schwartz says the current Ryan Field is not a sustainable stadium.
Yeah, we do a very bad job in comparison to many of our peer institutions in terms of waste management.
One of these is Ohio State University, which achieves zero waste status continuously.
Sustainability is more cost effective in the long term and more sustainable for all of us.
Going green on New Green, Divya Gupta, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Divya. The new Ryan Field is also set to be a fully outdoor stadium. Those attending events will have to be prepared to brave the elements, especially since yesterday marked the first snow of the season. The flurries might not have stuck, but they did stick in NU students' minds. Snow was seen in Evanston and across Chicagoland. It's about 2 weeks earlier than average and 3.5 weeks earlier than last year's.
And in other news, the McCormick School of Engineering Dean, Julio Otino, will step down as the dean at the end of this academic year. Otino has served in the role since 2005, and in a statement he said, quote, "The goal was to change the culture of the engineering school." He has since said that he has accomplished that goal and says McCormick is, quote, "more connected, innovative, and collaborative than ever before." Otino will continue to serve as a professor in the school.
Now for Under the Microscope, our look at research and science news from across the university. More precipitation is falling every time it rains, according to new research. An NU professor found that over a 30-year period, rain intensity increased across the South, East, and Midwest. There was little change in the West, especially in mountainous regions. Northwestern and MIT researchers have found a way to make micro-robotic arms a little more human. Researchers have had trouble recreating slower human movements in a robot, but researchers found that by making the micro-robots more chemically stable, it allowed them to be more autonomous. And it's the 15th anniversary of the Ryan Fellows Program, which has led to innovations in technology, medicine, and engineering. It supports graduate students interested in nanoscale science. Fellows helped develop the 3D printer and are currently working on a way to detect lead in water.
On National Coming Out Day, 2 Northwestern faculty members demonstrated what pride means to them. As NNN's Lena Peterson reports, this fun-loving spiritual event explores the history of gays and gospel.
Growing up in the South, Dean of the School of Communications, E. Patrick Johnson, found a place to be himself in his church choir.
Because I could perform my queerness even though I wasn't sort of naming it.
Professor Kent Brooks found the LGBTQ community was overlooked during his own childhood in the Black church.
A lot of their stories are suppressed.
This year, Brooks and Johnson partnered to bring gay gospel music to life with the help of students from the Beanan School of Music.
It's cool to just open a space where people can connect to whatever their definition of sacred is. And I feel really grateful to be a part of creating that for everyone on campus.
For childhood friends Johnson and Brooks, gospel music means much more than just notes on a page. It's an act of joyful resistance.
Gospel music, which is communal, it takes call and response, people singing in a group, combining that with the notion of liberation. I think it's the perfect pairing.
As the world becomes a more accepting place for the LGBTQ community, Johnson and Brooks hope to continue to celebrate the past while embracing a bright future. At Alice Millard Chapel, Lena Peterson, Northwestern News Network.
What a heartwarming story. Thanks, Lena.
Last Friday, Northwestern South Asian Students Alliance brought North Indian cultural festivities into the halls of Norris. NNN's Jenny Ha attended the celebration full of dancing.
Live DJ remixes of South Asian music, dandiya sticks clacking, and busy feet filled this room of nearly 200 students. They're here for Garba, a traditional Indian dance and religious and social event. The night celebrated through vibrant traditional clothes, Indian snacks, music, prayer, and non-stop dancing.
It is really, really awesome.
Garba is part of Navaratri, an annual fall Hindu holiday.
It's the time where we kind of dance and pray to God and kind of just show our appreciation.
Though attendees briefly participated in Arthi prayer, the campus edition of Garba, made possible by the South Asian Students Alliance, or SASA, is more about the culture.
The rest of it is just dancing and all the music and the food.
Attendees danced in circles around the Murthy, a statue representing divinity, and also with sticks for a dandiya dance.
And there's like a very specific dance that you do where everyone forms circles.
The rhythmic footsteps and swirling lehengas highlight the community of culture Garba Night creates for South Asian students.
Having like a group of people that you identify with culturally and even like ethically, morally, speak the same language possibly, I think it's really important.
It's also an immersive welcome to those unfamiliar.
It's so fun, I really like it.
As Sasa celebrates Indian tradition and the student tradition it's created at Northwestern. Jenny Huh, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Jenny. Garba Night is SASA's colorful kickoff to the school year. In the winter, they have their annual SASA show, and in the spring, Holi.
Wildcats took a bite out of Evanston. More than 24 participating restaurants opened their doors this past Sunday. It's all part of the annual free food event for Northwestern students. The goal? To introduce Wildcats to various establishments. Students went out to explore everything from soup and dessert. Downtown Evanston will award 3 students who posted pictures of this event online with $25 gift cards to use at any one of these local businesses. And A&O Productions drops names and tickets for this year's Blowout concert. We have more on who's performing after the break.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
A&O announced this year's blowout artist. Rapper Aminé will light up Welsh Ryan Arena. Since releasing his breakthrough single Caroline in 2017, he's amassed nearly 8 million monthly Spotify listeners and been nominated for a Grammy. Plus, indie pop group Michelle and student performer Vitamin K will open. You can hear them at 8 p.m. this Saturday. There were numerous posts by A&O today about various website crashes, lags, and errors, but tickets are free for students and can be reserved through the Norris box office.
Located 5 floors up in an Evanston parking lot, Sunday's Vintage Garage took thrifting to a whole new level. Vintage Garage Chicago is a pop-up vintage marketplace with about 75 vendors. All businesses sell items at least 25 years old. Look at that. Vendors sell all kinds of recycled items ranging from clothes and jewelry to records and even sustainably sourced honey.
I think that vintage things are unique. It's something that you're not going to go to a store and find. It's not fast fashion. It's something that we'll appreciate over time.
Now, though Sunday marked the last day for the Vintage Garage for this year, but the market will be back in Evanston next May.
Northwestern's athletes are having a busy fall season. NNN's Maria Heim is here now to bring us the latest update on sports. Maria?
Thanks, Vanessa. This was a big past week for Northwestern athletics, and we'll be sure to get you all caught up. Northwestern's cross-country team finished first on Friday with a handful of personal records. Graduate student Rachel McCardinal finished fourth with a time of 20 minutes and 11 seconds in the 6K. The team is off for the week preparing for the Big Ten Championships coming up in Ann Arbor. NU Field Hockey took down number 21 Ohio State on Sunday. A highlight of this game was Medina Garcia's performance as she broke the tie 2-1 in overtime. Looking at the big game this weekend, the football team is coming off a bye week. This Saturday, the Cats play in College Park to face the Maryland Terrapins. That'll do for the sports of the week. Vanessa?
Thanks, Maria, and go Cats. Coming up, Little Jazz on the Prairie. Local musicians take the stage at an Evanston restaurant.
We're Wildcats in every way.
cheer you all the go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
One Evanston restaurant is bringing Chicago's legendary late-night jazz scene to the suburbs. For all that jazz, Ellie Skelly is here with more.
Jazz nights at Prairie Moon Restaurant bring an overlooked art to Evanston.
It's much more respect globally than it does locally, and we have such amazing talent, especially in Chicago.
Every Wednesday night, starting at 9 p.m., jazz from various artists fills the underground restaurant.
It feels like it's an honor to just kind of be part of it and be creating with a lot of great musicians.
Post-COVID, Prairie Moon was looking to fill weeknight seats with a uniquely in-person experience.
To bring back jazz in a live format again, which is really the way to enjoy jazz.
The restaurant partnered with Fulton Street Collective, an arts group with live jazz performances, to identify local musicians.
There's really nowhere to see live jazz for the most part in the entire North Shore.
And only a block away from campus, Prairie Moon hopes to include Northwestern students, not only in the audience,
It's only going to be a couple hours, doesn't cost very much,
but also on the stage.
You can learn all the notes in your world in the classroom until you're playing in front of an audience. It's a different experience.
Jazzing up weeknights in Evanston, Ellie Skelly, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Ellie. Tickets are available for $7 online at prairiemoonrestaurant.com. And if you're interested in performing, reach out to either Fulton Street Collective or Prairie Moon.
Spooky season, my favorite time of the year, is in full swing, and Evanston's youngest residents are choosing their Halloween costumes. Hundreds of options were available for free this Sunday at the Fleetwood Jordan Center's Halloween pop-up shop. From Batman suits to sports jerseys, families had a wide selection. The donation event started in 2019 when Evanston parent Cindy Hicks realized how many kids were looking for affordable costumes. Now, it's an annual tradition. The pop-up offers free costumes to anyone who attends. Donation collection began back in September and was marketed through District 65's PTA Council.
I've heard positive feedback from both sides, people looking to donate, but more importantly, people in the community that want to have the costumes and do stuff for their kids.
Hicks says to keep an eye out because they'll be back with more costumes next year. Now, Diego, I gotta ask, what is your favorite Halloween candy?
Favorite Halloween candy? You know what? I'm not a candy person. I do love chocolate though, so I'm gonna say Reese's, but just chocolate. I can't do candy. Never been a fan.
That's a take. And I think that's all we have the time for tonight. I'm Vanessa Kelson.
And I'm Diego Ramos Bichara. Thanks for joining us and have a good night.